Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another video. My name is Sam Sobey. Very chill video today. No epic B-roll, no crazy drone shots, not a tournament. I just kind of want to do a full walkthrough of the gear that I feel like I've been hiding from you guys. I do a lot of fishing outside of filming, and I do a lot of filming that never really makes the light of YouTube. And there's a whole bunch of gear that I use all the time that I feel like I never talk about. And there's people all the time that ask me, do a full walkthrough kind of your boat, tackle you really love, certain rod and reel setups. Just very chill video this is gonna be. And yeah, let me show you the gear that I feel like I've kind of been hiding you guys. So let's hop in the boat. All right, first and foremost, I feel like when people do tackle reviews, boat reviews, anything like that, their gear is so organized, it's clean, they know exactly what they're gonna talk about, they know exactly what they're trying to show you or promote to you. And I'm gonna show you basically bare bones of how I have this boat laid out when it's its dirtiest. This is the dirtiest the boat's been all summer long. I need to wash it, I need to vacuum it. Brok and myself just got done doing a whole bunch of frogging, bunch of punching, flipping. So what I'm trying to say is there's nothing staged, there's nothing set up. This is my boat, bare bones, at its ugliest, but that's when I use it. So I'm gonna show you guys all my tackle, go through a bunch of stuff, bunch of rods, and yeah, we'll just start with the middle container. Middle container, if you guys haven't seen any of my other videos, is basically where I keep all my tackle, like my hard tackle boxes. I keep my plastics up to the right, but here is just basically all my tackle on the whole boat. This is a giant rod locker, but I feel like it's most accessible when I use it just for gear. All right, item number one that I feel like I really haven't talked about much that I've been using all year long now. These are brand new. This is a brand new Clam Net. It's an extremely nice net. It's that rubber coated net so that your hooks don't get caught up in it, lures don't get caught up in it. It's like perfect size, fits right in my container, and it's just like your standard bass net. But this can be used for multi-species too. Be a great walleye net as well. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. There's a handy dandy little lever on the back. It helps it lock right into place. So now that once you've locked the net and it's engaged into place, it doesn't go anywhere. It also has a little screwable part down here to extend the handle. So now this net is extremely long. So it's really nice for tournament fishing, and Brok's catching a fish really far away, or I'm catching a fish really far away. Boom, I can reach out really far and scoop. I feel like this would be also nice if you had like a little bit larger boat, maybe you had a pontoon, maybe you had a walleye boat. This gives you a little bit extra reach so you can scoop down there and grab those fish. I can descend it, and it's kind of nice here. It's got a little ruler on the side. I don't musky fish too much, but if we run across a muskie or a pike, it's nice to have kind of a ruler in the boat that goes beyond 40 inches. And it's right here on the side of the net. This is an amazing net. I've loved it so far this year. I don't get too hyped about nets. I've had a few of them over the years, and this one I feel like is probably my best net I've ever owned. So moving on, life jackets, I've been keeping those in the center console. Moving on to just randomness. I've got a whole bunch of lure lock containers in here. I've been using these tackle boxes this year. I've been enjoying them a lot. All right, next box, I love so much. I actually use a ton, but it seems like it never gets captured on camera too much. I tend to do a lot of videos, or at least post a lot of videos, I feel like, when it's not windy out. And when it gets windy and starts blowing, I do a lot of fishing, just not on camera. And when it really starts blowing, especially like in summertime in the Midwest, like July, August, I love to throw crankbaits. These are all Rapala DT series. These are like the freaking juice. You can talk to anybody who's been bass fishing their whole life, and they're gonna tell you DT10s, DT12s, DT16s, DT6s, they're the absolute deal. So I'll go through some of these. These are amazing baits. If you fish any lakes that have rocks in it, riprap, deep rock points, rock structures, anything that you really want to grind with a crankbait, I would always suggest trying out a DT series from Rapala. They're freaking incredible. Rapala's a staple. They've been making hard baits forever, and they'll probably make hard baits till the day we die. Moving on. All right, potentially my most used box of tackle in here are my AT jigs and then football head jigs. You guys have seen me all spring long, all summer long, honestly, throwing these AT jigs and the football head jigs. Here's just a staple, little 3/8 ounce Midwest Craw AT rattling jig by All Terrain Tackle. I'll link these down below. They have a rattle in them. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Awesome head design. I can skip docks with these. I can throw these at rocks. I can throw these on a weed line. This is like the bread and butter go-to jig. If you're a veteran to bass fishing, or if you're brand new, having like a handful AT rattling jigs in your arsenal never hurts. Beyond that, inside this box, I have my football head jigs. Football head jigs are one of my favorite jigs to use, like late in the summer, late fall, early spring too. When those fish get out on rock piles, when they start kind of getting out on those little spines, throwing a football head jig might be my favorite way to fish. I love casting out there, basically taking your time, letting it hit the bottom, and you just slowly bring that along. You can kind of check out the head design here. It looks like a football head jig, roller head jig, whatever you call it. Those just drag along the rocks. Football head jig fishing is freaking fun. Moving on. Next box I want to show you is, I feel like I use this a lot during the spring, but later in the summer I don't use it as much, and I don't really know why. A lot of lakes in Minnesota, at least where I'm from, are very grass driven, so there's a ton of grass. So it's not like we just have riprap or rock bank shore that we can be grinding squarebills with, but yeah, squarebill is an amazing bait, like I said, especially when I'm fishing down south in the spring in the pre-spawn. These crush. Here's a bunch of Arashi Storm. These are like some of my favorites. They're like 7 flats. A bunch of different squarebills in here. Besides the squarebills, this is where I keep my DT6s. This is an extremely versatile crankbait. I love like little craw color DT6s. I feel like these work really well down south. Clear water, dirty water. Also just black and white ones too. Always seem to crush up here. Squarebills, DT6s, whether they show up in the videos or not as much as I'd like them to, this is a box I definitely utilize, especially during the spring. All right, moving on. This is a box I don't use very much, but I wish I did more. As far as topwaters go, I feel like when I'm fishing a topwater, at least around kind of my area, it's always pretty sloppy, so I'm generally throwing a frog. But when I go up north and I get to kind of like fish topwater, like on little rock humps and very shallow little points and kind of little jetties that come out, I love to throw popper. So not just for smallmouth, but largemouth too. These are probably 2 of my favorite open water topwater baits. This is a little X-Wrap popper, and this is my favorite color. I keep a whole bunch of these. This is clown. This is color clown. Definitely for smallies these crush, but for largemouth these crush too. If I had to just buy one popper that, say I was going on a camping trip, I could bring limited tackle, and maybe I'm going up north, going to the Boundary Waters, or just going to any lake up north, I'd definitely bring a couple poppers in clown color. Another awesome topwater is the Skitterwalk. I keep a whole bunch of these. I still have these in the package. I've got like 3 of the same exact color. This is bone color. Is it bone or white? I think this is bone color. I usually only throw topwater in bone, white, or that clown color, but either way, these are super nice. These don't push water as much, but they more walk on the top of the surface, so these are a really fun topwater bait. Very good topwater bait too. Besides that, in this topwater box, I got a whole bunch of weird like whopper plopper type stuff. I don't throw that stuff as much, mainly just poppers and frogs if I'm doing topwater, so we'll keep moving on. All right, next box. This is another box I only really utilize in the spring and the fall, definitely. Is my jerkbait box. Got a whole bunch of Rapala shadow wraps here. You guys will definitely see a lot more of these in the fall. I crushed with these in the spring. Went up north, went on Mille Lacs a whole bunch, and jerkbaiting's fun. It's a bait that goes not on top of the water, not toward the bottom of the water column, but stays in the middle of the water column. So it's kind of like a neutral buoyancy lure. They suspend. You rip them around, fish absolutely crush them. Doesn't matter if you're going for pike, smallmouth, largemouth. Jerkbaits are freaking incredible. So, moving on. Alrighty, next box, been utilizing a lot recently. We're kind of approaching like late July. Frogging is freaking on fire where I'm at. So I've been doing a lot of frogging. It's a cool little tackle box by Lure Lock. It's like really thin, it's not as deep as a normal box, so that's why I put my frogs in it. It's just big sticky platform in there. It's not segmented out. Frogs stick to it, and yeah, it's pretty nice. If I had to give a tip to anybody that wants to frog fish out there, I would say basically buy a black frog and then buy a white frog. All my white frogs are tight on my rods right now, but something with a white belly and something with a black belly. That's all you need to know. I wouldn't mix it up with yellows or purples or pinks or greens. I feel like white or black is the absolute deal. Play with them too. I've got people that say I throw only white in dirty water. I got other people that say I throw only black in dirty water. Everybody's got a theory. My theory is just play around with it. Let the fish tell you what they want. But as far as frogs go, I have no connection with the company Spro by any means, but I think they make an awesome frog. I can bomb them. They hold up really nice. I think Booyah makes some decent frogs too. Strike King might make a couple decent frogs, but Spro is definitely my favorite. These are all pretty much Spro frogs. And I don't know if I've said this enough, but I'll reiterate it again. I will link everything down below. So if there's stuff in here that you're like, oh, I want to buy, I'd like to check that out. I buy most of my tackle online, a pretty sweet site called omnia.com. Not only do they sell tackle, they basically do a full rundown of different lakes, different reports. They have pros that write up there. They have people that drop waypoints and fishing spots. They tell you certain baits to use certain time of year for your region. Really cool website, intuitive website. Not a plug or anything, I'm just telling you that's where I buy my tackle. And yeah, I'll link all these lures there and a lot of the reels and rods and cranum stuff. So, moving on. Probably the most important box a fisherman needs to have, it doesn't matter if you're going for catfish, bass, walleye, pike, is your hook box, your terminal tackle. This is an absolute disaster right now. This is not organized in any specific way. I've got just random VMC flipping hooks here, VMC wide gap hooks here, worm hooks, just a variety of stuff. Basic hooks that I feel like you should need if you don't have them already is a worm style hook, little VMC worm style hook, or a little VMC EWG hook. These are super lines, so they're a little bit thicker. I love to flip with these hook. I feel like I have much better success with this than just like a normal flipping hook. I don't know why. That's just my personal preference. This is like a flipping hook opposed to an EWG hook. All right, one last thing I'll show you in the hook box, then we'll keep moving on. This is kind of my dirty little secret. If you guys like fishing docks, like fishing ponds, like fishing near shore, this is my dirty little secret right here. This little VMC wacky weedless jig. It's got a tiny little head. They come in a whole bunch of different sizes, like 1/16, maybe 3/16, 1/8, 3/8. They come in a whole bunch of different sizes, but basically it's just a beautiful little kind of a Nico style hook, and you hook that on wacky. It's got a little weed guard, and it's got a little weight. So for pulling your stick baits down, I feel like you can fish them a little faster. So that's how I rig them right there, right in the middle of a little Cinco. Toss it out there, boom, 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 kind of work it, reel it back in, toss it under a dock, work it, work it, work it, reel it back in. It seems like a little bit faster, more efficient way to fish a weightless style bait, I think. I don't know, I think they crush. Moving on, next box. Jig worm heads, swing heads, swim bait heads. This box is utilized so much. I feel like I'm just a kid in the candy store at this box, grabbing in here, throwing stuff around. This box is kind of a disaster right now, but that's because I use it a lot. All right, first and foremost, jig worm heads. I feel like this is a technique that's a little bit bigger up north. This little all-terrain tackle mighty head jig worm head. I feel like I only really use chartreuse and black. I throw worms on this, everything from stick baits, Cincos, ribbon tail worms, trick worms. I basically just throw that on a weed line, slowly pop it and bring it in. These are incredible. They have a really strong hook in them. I use these every single day bassing in the Midwest. So, all right, next thing in my box, I have little VMC mushroom heads. These are for Ned rigs. Not only do these crush for smallmouth, they crush for largemouth too, especially if the fish are pressured and a little bit more of a finesse bite. All right, moving up to the top of the box. This is one of my dirty little secrets for fishing deep, fishing rivers, fishing any sort of rocks, and I feel like I almost choose this more than a football head jig 9 out of 10 times. I feel like it's a little bit less intrusive body style of a bait, and what I'm talking about is little all-terrain tackle swing head. Swing head, rugby head, biffle head, whatever you want to call them. The cool thing about all-terrain tackles is they detach from the hook, so I can change my hook style depending upon the bait I'm throwing. So if I'm throwing a real giant craw, maybe I'll upgrade to a 5/0 hook, 6/0 hook. If I'm throwing a really small bait, going for smallmouth in a river, and maybe I'm throwing just a little zoom speed craw, maybe I'll go all the way down to a 2/0 hook. The cool thing with these suckers is, yeah, you just thread them right on, thread them right off, however you like them. Boom, just like that. I'll grab a little beaver down here. I throw a lot of D-bombs on these suckers. You can fish these shallow, you can fish these deep, you can fish these in rivers. River rats for years have been throwing these, but I feel like they're now becoming a little bit more popular for lake guys, just because it's a little bit different approach than throwing a football head jig. I kind of put that in there, kind of funky, but you guys get the picture. If you guys like fishing deep rocks, I definitely recommend these if you haven't already. So, this box is utilized a lot. Moving on. All right, last but not least, last two boxes are literally full of jigs. I love fishing jigs. In this one, I've got a whole bunch of swim jigs. I stick with a lot of natural colors, a lot of bluegill looking colors. White crushes all over. A lot of black and blue too for some dirty lakes. So this whole row up here is just all-terrain tackle swim jigs. Besides that, chatterbaits. I use these a ton in the spring, not so much in the summer, and I don't really know why, but chatterbaits and swim jigs. All right, last but not least, Grassmaster jigs, especially this time of year, and as we go into August too. These are really, really good, at least up north where I'm at. Grassmaster jigs are exactly how they sound. They are a grass jig, kind of a torpedo type head. All-terrain tackle makes these jigs awesome. In Minnesota, in the Midwest, we have a whole bunch of weeds. We have a whole bunch of milfoil, cabbage, coontail, and it seems like these weeds will grow up, they'll get beautiful, gills will hang around these, a lot of bait fish will hang around these, and that results in big, big bass being kind of clumped in these beautiful patches of weeds. This is my go-to jig for flipping around. I like to flip a Texas rig around a lot, but if I'm just boom, 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 running and gunning, Grassmaster jigs are amazing. Beyond that, I have so much random garbage in here. I keep like a couple extra bags where I'll like throw Grassmaster jigs in there quick, boom, throw a quick beaver in there. I've got a little Grassmaster jig here. Like if I'm taking them off, taking them on. A lot of go-to stuff I'll keep in like a little side bag, and this will kind of just be my little money bag. I'll reach in here, I'll put stuff in there kind of as the day goes on. I've got random reels laying all over. Crazy stuff. Some Shimanos, some Abus, some Cast King, some Daiwa. I'm not like real brand specific when it comes to reels. Comment down below your guys' favorite reels. All right, also in the middle container, probably one of the coolest things I have as far as filming goes, is my Easy Cam post. I'm not totally sure if they even make these. I think this is a Canadian company I got offline, and I love it so much. If they do make them, I'll link them down below. But this is my back pedestal seat right here. Basically, this monopod just straps right to my pedestal seat. Pedestal seat locks in, and then I've got full adjustment up here. I got a little fluid head on here. I can attach my big DSLR, so when I'm fishing up front, I got my big camera in the back, and I don't have to have a buddy hold it, or I don't have to vlog with it. So this thing's incredible. You could obviously get attachments to put a GoPro on here or a cell phone on here. So if they still make these, I'll definitely link them down below. All right, last stuff in the middle container that I promise are closing it up. Some spinner baits, some buzz baits. I don't have a wide variety of spinner baits or buzz baits. I feel like I don't throw them as much as I should, but yeah, that's what I got. And along with that, leader line. Little Suffix, 15 pound, 10 pound, 8 pound. This is what I tie to my spinning rods, some bait casting too. It's good to have a little leader line handy right here if I need to tie up quick. Whip back out there. And yeah. Enough with the middle container. Let's keep her moving. Alrighty, as we move to the front, like I said, this is the dirtiest the boat's ever been. And this is how I wanted to show you guys. Literally right after a tournament, how it looks every single day before I get it all cleaned up. This isn't some crazy organized boat walkthrough tour. This is exactly what it sounds like. This is just the kind of gear I've been hiding from you guys. So in here, like many of you might know if you've seen other videos, I have all my plastics. I keep just random boxes, little lure lock boxes of like Zoom Speed craws. These are some of my favorite craws. I'm not plastic specific either. I use literally everything underneath the sun. I use a whole bunch of missile baits, D-bombs, love these. For finesse fishing, I love robo worms. For swim baits, I love Kitex. Kitex are incredible. They crush fish, especially in the spring and fall. As far as other craws and beavers go, I love Rage Tails. They're very expensive, so I don't buy them all the time, but when I do buy them, I love them so much. This is basically where I keep all my plastics. At one point in time this summer, it was very organized. Steph helped me organize them all out. I got little bags here that's like ribbon tail worms, 6-inch trick worms. It was all just kind of segmented out into proper areas. And now after like a half summer of fishing, it's just right behind the plastics container and to the left of the main container is my cooler. My cooler has been so awesome this year. In this Vexus boat, it has a cooler and I love it so much. For years, my whole life, doesn't matter if I was fishing out of kayaks, rafts, little tin boats, bass trackers, I always had to bring separate coolers. And to have a boat with a cooler in it has been incredible. So I like to freeze a bunch of big water jugs and then I'll refreeze them. This gets nice and cold, the cooler stays cold. Basically in here I've got Mountain Dew, bunch of water, LaCroix, some iced tea, and yeah, I've been loving the cooler. That's enough about the cooler. Over here to the left side of the boat is my big rod locker underneath here. I won't show you that too much. It's basically just a bunch of rods and rod sleeves in there. But it's been extremely nice this year. Traveling, being on the road, also moving into this place here, I don't always lock up my garage at night. I sometimes leave the garage door open, leave the truck hooked up, but I can put all my rods in here and I can lock the container. That way I know nobody will steal my rods and reels. So having a rod locker has been really, really nice. Alrighty. I feel like something I totally lack in with the videos is telling you guys like my rod and reel setup, or exactly the kind of rod and reel I use for certain situations. I'll go through these really quick, just kind of my go-to rods that I had on the deck from today. But yeah, I've got a whole bunch of rods. I'll link them all down below. Different rods are good for different techniques. You don't need a million rods, but there are a few key rods that I feel like if you're trying to get into fishing a little bit harder, that you definitely need to have. So this is one of my favorite rods right here. This is Dobyns rods, 702 Sierra. I would use this for absolutely everything spinning. This is a great drop shot rod, great jig worm rod. This is a great just weightless wacky rig Senko rod. This is a perfect rod if you just wanted to do a little bit of everything too. If you wanted to walleye fish, if you wanted to bass fish, maybe if you wanted to throw some light lures around for some pike, this rod basically does it all. It's got a great action, it's light, and it's extremely affordable. 702 Sierra, I have like 3 or 4 of these, and that's basically what I keep everything lined up with. So As far as reel goes, 3000 size spinning reel. This is a Daiwa. I like it. I beat on it, so I'll continue. Next spinning rod, new one I've been trying out this year, the Caden series. A little bit longer rod, I feel I can get a little bit more distance cast, and it's a little bit more finesse, so I've been drop shotting with this rod. This is the Caden 712 SF. I don't know if he's still making more of these or if they have more to come out with, but I've really enjoyed this rod. If you've seen any of my videos, you can tell I drop shot a lot, so this rod gets a workout. All right, and last but not least, this is a Dobyns spinning rod, I think 723. That's all I'm gonna show you right there. Just a little bit. Whoop. This is a secret project. This rod has not been released yet. These are a bunch of prototypes my friends and I have been testing out. I love them so much. That's all I'm saying about that. Moving on. All right, bait casters I had on the deck today. There's a whole bunch of random ones underneath the deck, but I'll show you the ones I had on the deck today. We were fishing fairly shallow today, so we were just kind of greasing around the cheese. Oh boy. Oh boy. Rod number one. And this will be probably my favorite rod that I throw all summer long. I feel like it's the perfect rod for the technique, and I feel like everyone in the whole entire world should have one, especially if you like frog fishing. This is a Dobyns Champion XP 736 full handle cork. When you're frogging, it's nice to have that full handle that you can grip onto and whack them. This rod is super cool because not only is it extremely stout and strong, but it's nice and light, and it's not like I'm throwing a giant whooping stick in there, and it is strong enough to get them out of the thick cheese too. So I've said it once, I'll say it again, Dobyns Champion XP 736 full handle is the best frog rod I've ever used in my entire life. I can wholeheartedly say that. It is a little bit more expensive rod. It's got a really good warranty though, so if you do break them, I think for a small fee you can get the same exact rod back. But yeah, this is frog rod butter. All right, next rod is my crankbait rod. This is Dobyns Champion XP 805 Randy Maccabee Signature Series rod. Really cool rod. Do I think everybody needs this rod? Absolutely not. If you're not into deep cranking, you don't need this rod, but this is extremely technique specific. This rod's very parabolic. I love it a lot. I can rip it out of the weeds, but at the same token, I don't rip it out of my fish's mouth, so awesome crankbait rod. All right, next rod, my Texas rig rod, flipping rod. This is a Caden Series 765 flipping rod. I like to throw Texas rigs on it, I like to throw jigs on it. I have been giving this rod an absolute workout this year. All my big fish this year, I feel like I've come on this rod, kind of flipping deep weed lines, so this rod's been taking a beating. Brand new Caden Series from Dobyns. Love this rod. As far as a reel on here, there's a Cast King Bassinator. Been really impressed with this reel so far. Like I said, Cast King is kind of an underrated brand, but I feel like they're making pretty good products, so I like it a lot. Either way, total whooping stick right here. New Caden, new Cast King. Bingo. Next rod. This is an OG Dobyns rod. They don't make these anymore. This is a Savvy. This is a 7'6", absolute heavy broomstick flipping rod. This rod is heavy. This rod is extremely heavy and stout. A 1.25 ounce, little swaggy tungsten on there, and a little flipping hook, little VMC 4-aught EWG. Throw that sucker in the cheese and just wham! So this is a fun setup. I got 65-pound braid on here, and anytime I can punch thick mats, I definitely punch thick mats. All right, next rod. I love it so much. It's an extremely sensitive rod. It's a light rod. It's got a great tip. I either throw a football head jig on this or a swing head. I basically only deep fish with this rod. This is a Dobyns Champion XP 764. Is that what it is? Yeah, 764 full handle, and this is a great rod for dragging. I throw it out there and I just drag with this rod. And that's where it's really key to have a sensitive rod, but one that doesn't hit too hard too. So I feel like I'll be dragging with this type of rod and I'll be able to load back into them and hit them really hard. And it's not extremely stout where I pop the hook out of the mouth, but it has enough give where I can nail them and then fight them really good back to the boat. So very cool roller jig rod. And last but not least, Dobyns Champion XP 744, all around good jig rod. This is a jig rod special, whether you want to flip jigs, pitch docks, do anything underneath the sun with a jig. 744 Champion XP, awesome rod. And if I haven't been clear enough, as far as kind of Dobyns breakdown, how their number system goes with their rods. So if I say a Dobyns 744, it breaks down with the length and then the power of rods. So 744 would be a 7'4" with 4-pound action. The higher the power, the stronger the rod. So 736, like that frog rod, it's 7'3", but it's 6 power. So it's a freaking stout rod. So that's kind of how it's broken down. I'll link all these rods down below, but if you're on their website and you're kind of wondering what those numbers mean, now you know. Length, then power. All right, other gear I've been hiding from you. In this middle box right here, this little step stool box, I have like all my day stuff. I keep some little Cast King scissors right here. Boom, I can pull them out really quick. Cut my line, retie. Some rope. I actually found this at the house. Stephanie and myself actually found this at the house when we moved in. I didn't have a good like pair of ropes. Have a good little spool of rope, but now I do. Besides that, I've got a couple different scales. I've got a newer Rapala scale I bought this year where I can lock in the weights, and then I have my older Rapala scale. Both work awesome. I like to have two scales just to compare. All right, more gear I'm hiding from you. Inside here, middle container. I don't keep too much stuff. I have more rope, you never know. iPhone cord charger. I keep the keys in here sometimes. I keep a buff, random sunglasses, the iPilot, sunscreen, usually my wallet, my phone mostly. So this right here is basically wallet and phone container. All right, back in this container, I keep a variety of stuff, but very important pieces of gear. Giant spools of line, giant spools of Suffix. I basically use Suffix line, and then I use LYN. My good buddy owns the company LYN, and then I also really believe in the Suffix too. So I always keep a whole bunch of line. If you blow up a reel in the water, the worst thing to do is to put it down, but the best thing is if you have line right in the boat to re-spool it. So this kind of stinks to buy. You gotta bite the bullet, and it does cost a lot, but at the same token, it's awesome to have a whole bunch of line at all times. Besides that, my waterproof backpack from BlackFish. I keep a lot of camera gear in here. I utilize this mostly if I'm going on the road or jumping into somebody else's boat. My tackle stays dry, my camera gear stays dry. I'll link that, it's a cool backpack. Brok's rain gear. Brok's BlackFish rain gear. My BlackFish rain gear, having quality rain gear has been a huge plus, and a piece of clothing and gear I'd never go without. So I'll definitely link this down below. I stand behind this gear 100%. I stay 100% dry, very breathable, very durable. Looks pretty dang cool too. So I've got the gray version. Brok has the little bit more expensive version in BlackFish. Both awesome rain suits, very affordable. And like I said, if there's something you want to bite the bullet on and spend money on, either for yourself or a loved one, I would say a good set of rain bibs and jacket is always a good call. It stinks fishing in the rain, but if you have good gear, it's no problem. All right, in this container, I keep a FishNMore fan. Just kidding, this is for the bugs we have out here. In this one, it's more fun. I keep random bags of chips in here. I keep random bags from Omnia and other crazy tackle stores I go run to on the road. This is like a menagerie box. Besides that, I keep a throwable here. I keep a fire extinguisher in here. I keep random toolboxes in here. I won't pull everything out. This stuff's kind of boring. I keep G-Juice in here. Stuff is nice if you're fishing tournaments. If a fish is bleeding a little bit, put this in there. It rejuvenates them, calms the fish down. G-Juice is like straight magic. It's like pouring Mountain Dew in their mouth. They love it. Besides that, just random tools back there. All right. Besides the stuff that's just in the boat already, I got a few different packages. I'll open them up later. Some fishing line, LYN. My good buddy Sam Moore owns this company. Awesome fishing line. I got a whole bunch of Suffix the other day too. I'm not extremely brand specific with line, but line and Suffix, like I said, are my go-tos. And then some stuff I got in the mail recently that I'm kind of pumped about. Some Swagger tungsten. My good buddy Swaggy sent me some tungsten. Tungsten is expensive, but it's extremely needed. A bunch of different bullet weights. He has everything underneath the sun. He's got little Nico weights. He's got crazy cool little jig heads. Swagger tungsten makes a whole bunch of cool stuff. Carolina rig weights. I got a whole bunch of tungsten because dang Pike eating me off every single other day. But yeah, I'll link his company down below. Check it out. Buy some tungsten from him. He's a good friend of mine and sweet dude. So make sure you look up Swaggy. All right, and last but definitely not least, this isn't gear that I hide from you guys. You guys see me wear this every single day. I literally wear one of these shirts every single day all summer long. I have 5 of them. I rotate them through the wash. These are BlackFish Sun hoodies. At this moment in time, I don't have merch because I don't really know if I want to make merch yet. I feel like when I make merch, I gotta believe in wearing it, and this is something I believe in wearing. It protects my skin, it breathes, it's amazing, and at the end of the day, it protects my skin. It's got a hoodie in the back side of it, so I can put this up, protect my face. I've got sunglasses on, wear some sunscreen, put a hood on there. These BlackFish Sun hoodies are absolutely incredible. And I don't know everything about clothing, I'm not a clothing doctor, but the technology they have in here that kind of wicks your sweat and helps you breathe, that's incredible stuff. Like I said, I don't know the technology behind this other than that it's freaking sweet. So I'll link BlackFish down below. If you have not bought a Sun hoodie, or if you have a loved one that spends a lot of time outside, whether it be hiking, lawn mowing, fishing, hunting. Bottom line, this performance clothing is the real deal, so make sure you check out some of this stuff. This company also supports this channel, so anytime you support this company, you support this channel, so I appreciate it. Comment down your favorite tackle below. Comment down your favorite plastics, line, hooks. The more you guys comment down below not only helps me out, but it helps other viewers out to see what other people are using, liking, and what you guys suggest. So thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Like I said, I'll link all the gear down below, and make sure you check some of the links out. So thank you so much again. I appreciate you. I guess there's not left to be said, and stay tuned. And as always, the adventure people. See you.
Oh my pretty babe, something ain't right. Got to find a way to move ahead. Oh my pretty babe.